Okay, well, I'm just going to wait to see for some people to show up. Oh, got 1, 2. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Zafar Lutfoloyev. Lots of people. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So it's about 4:01, and I'll just wait a couple more minutes to see if a few more people can join. Hi, everyone. I've never done an Insta Live before, so this is a new world for me. I see Ms. Leah Robinson. Mrs. Robinson, how are you? All right. So I want to welcome everyone to a sort of impromptu live preview, walkthrough of the Aga Khan Museum's spring exhibition, Sanctuary. If you don't know me, my name is Michael Chagnon. I'm curator here at the Aga Khan Museum. And first question, is it closed? Yes, our museum is closed because of the COVID outbreak. And so we're trying to keep everyone safe. At the same time, we needed to finish up installing the exhibition. So part of the video today is just to sort of give you a sense of the sort of reality on the ground if you're working in museums and other cultural institutions. In many ways, the show must go on. So our museum, like a lot of other museums, are providing digital content and online content so that those of you who are at home quarantined and self-quarantined and in lockdown of different kinds can still experience the arts. And that's very important so that we can continue to connect with one another through our shared humanity. So it's very important. For those of us working in museums, we sometimes have to be on site and continue to install in spite of the fact that there's a lot going on right now and it's very complicated. But I think today, maybe a little bit tomorrow, maybe my last day on site here. We've basically finished the exhibition, installing it, and so I just wanted to share it with all of you. I'm gonna see if I can flip this around and we'll get just a sort of walkthrough of the exhibition. I'm touching my face. I'm really sorry. I should not be doing that, but once I turn around the screen, you won't be able to see me doing that. It won't bother you anymore. Here we go. So the exhibition starts with this sort of dramatic corridor where we have our exhibition text on the right, and we'll have some screens to the left, and those will have sort of facts about the moment we live in right now, which is one in which bearing witness to great human displacement. 70,800,000 people today are displaced from their homes due to war, to poverty, to environmental catastrophe, and so forth. And really, this exhibition, Sanctuary, is a show that brings together 36 artists who have, in their own ways, through their own designs, meditated on this theme of sanctuary at a time when refuge and asylum and sanctuary is a shared feeling and a shared need for all of us. The exhibition originated at the Foresight Foundation in San Francisco. We have expanded the exhibition in various ways, and we'll walk through and you can see what we've done here. The 36 artists have created designs for carpets, in fact, And so their designs have been transferred to forms of cartoons that are then given to master weavers in Lahore, Pakistan, who transferred their designs into the woven medium. Just here's a sort of view of the space as soon as you walk in. You can see that the exhibition architecture is made of these sort of porous, linear walls that are at different angles. These are walls that were designed. We collaborated with an artist and an architectural historian named Azra Akshamiya, who's a really fantastic, brilliant scholar and artist. Azra and the Aga Khan Museum collaborated on this design. One of the rules that I established as project curator for this exhibition was to create an environment, a built environment that, first of all, attempted as much as possible to avoid 90-degree angles. I didn't want there to be any real walls. I wanted it to be a sort of exhibition with no walls, in fact. So this was one small rule. The second was to build the environment out using entirely second and third life materials, recyclable materials, recycled materials, in honor of our earth as a sanctuary. So you can see here the exhibition has these really wonderful walls that are actually made of t-shirts that members of our community donated to the exhibition, that we then had a company called JuiceWorks help us build out, actually physically build. They had a number of people just knotting these strips of t-shirts together to create our walls. So that's a sort of 360 view. The exhibition, when it was in San Francisco, presented the 36 carpets in a grid on the floor so that people could sit on them, look at the designs, meditate on their meaning, and really get a sense of the tactility and the visuality at the same time of these artworks. What I wanted to do was to have some of them on the floor and some of them on the walls or strung up, as you can see, to create different experiential moments within the space, either sort of formal juxtapositions or conceptual conversations among the pieces. I also divided the exhibition into 3 sections so that there's a bit of a narrative arc. This first section that we're in, this is a carpet by Ai Weiwei that you can see strung up here. And here we have a carpet by Arwa Abuan called Pentagon Shamsiya. This first section focuses on sanctuary in an age of displacement. As I mentioned, over 70 million people across the world are displaced from their homes today. And this is just a massive number. In this era of massive displacement, it behooves all of us to sit and think about what are the causes of this sort of massive catastrophe. What's going on in our world today that has led us to this moment? In many instances, war. For example, the civil war in Syria, war in Iraq. In other instances, it's a matter of poverty. It's a matter of environmental concerns. So these are all different causes of displacement today, and all causes for the need for sanctuary for many people, many, many millions of people. So the carpets in this section focus on this theme of displacement and showcase artists who've really thought about this question of displacement. Many of the artists in the show, in fact, are migrants themselves of one form or another. We have here, just to give you a little bit more of a sense of the space, here's one of these juxtapositions. Here we have a carpet by Sanaz Mazinani, who's a local Toronto-based artist who creates wonderful designs for textiles using sort of modified photography. In this instance, her design, you can see, has been transferred to a carpet, and upon first glance is sort of you would say a modern-looking carpet, pretty close to a medallion design carpet in the classical Persian tradition, with the medallion at the center and corner pieces in the four corners of the field. But as you get close, you can see that her designs are often based on images taken from high up of explosions in war. And here we have that in conversation with the Ai Weiwei carpet, where we can see how the Twitter logo has been changed into something quite different. So many of the carpets in the exhibition focus on the themes of migration across borders, and specifically the migration across the southern border of the United States. Here we have a carpet design by Zaibak, which shows migrants coming over the southern border of the United States, but using a composition, just redeploying the figures of a composition by Leutze, a well-known painting showing the westward migration, painting from the 19th century. Here, essentially, we have a group of carpets that look at history painting and European history painting, and sort of reconfigure those compositions to create statements on the contemporary situation. And as we go around in this section, we have more, a little bit more. You can see here, this is reality, folks. We're still building and still tweaking, but I just wanted to share the preview with you, so don't mind this ladder. It is not part of the art. Believe it or not. Here we have a carpet designed by Ana Teresa Fernandes. This is a still from, I believe, a film that she created that focuses on, again, that migration over the southern border, juxtaposed with a carpet designed by Have Kahraman called Kachachi, which is adapted from a painting that Kahraman created, showing a group of Iraqi women gaining instruction, seemingly in all sorts of, let's say, domestic knowledge, but in fact gaining knowledge about escaping and fleeing. So this is a very powerful carpet. So we can see a number of carpets that focus on these themes. A couple points to note here. We've used, again, with this idea of sustainability in mind, we've used a kind of vinyl. I like to call it vegan vinyl, but it's a kind of vinyl that is entirely recyclable. So once for these labels on the floor, once the exhibition is taken down, these labels will be able to be recycled. We'll send it back to the manufacturer, who will melt them down again and repurpose the vinyl. So vinyl has a huge carbon footprint, so we really wanted to source as much materials as possible that are recyclable. Another point is that we have a couple points in the exhibition where we acknowledge those who donated donated T-shirts to the exhibition architecture. And if you were among those who heeded our call and you donated some T-shirts to the exhibition architecture, which you can see has been beautifully assembled here, come find your name on the wall. You'll also notice that the main section texts and the main texts on the walls are in fact all handwritten. We've enlisted a local artist, Joel Cotrill, to develop a special calligraphy for the exhibition, so that we don't have to print on some substrate and then throw that away. This was another way for us to be sustainable and environmentally friendly, and at the same time supporting local artists. So all of our main section texts on the walls have been hand painted, as it were. The second part of the exhibition, the second section, focuses on the sanctuary of the mind. And the idea behind this is to bring together some of the more conceptual carpets, some of the carpets whose designs aren't immediately apparent, and really invite contemplation. Invite people to sit down to really contemplate the meaning behind the designs. But also to highlight carpets where personal identity can be shared, and personal histories can be shared. So the artist's personal stories, sort of creating a safe haven. These carpets create a safe zone for the artist to sort of express their own personal identities. A really wonderful example I'll show here. They're all wonderful. I love all my children equally. But a really fantastic example, eye-popping, is Jeffrey Gibson's "The Only Way Out Is Through." Here we have this really almost psychedelic design that Gibson has used. He is a Choctaw Cherokee artist and has called attention to the synergies between indigenous art forms with some forms of modernism, particularly op art. And so here we see how different culturally coded stylistic forms kind of come together in a single place in this very, I would say, eye-popping but still really inviting and really meditative piece. I also wanted to show this. We saw this before, Susan Hafuna's B1. If you know Hafuna's work, she primarily works in metal sculpture, and she creates these lattice-like designs, often that incorporate text and messages so that they become permanent and rigid within the metal itself. The framework, the lattice, is a reference to the mashrabiyah, which is the lattice screen in front of windows through which one can look out, but people cannot see in. It is a sort of two-way visual street in many ways, and so while there is a divide between people, there's also a sense that the two on either side of a screen are in communication. And so this is a really beautiful message, both visually, conceptually, and in text, B1. And I wanted to put that near our own mashrabiyah window in the gallery. And so, moving on, the third and final section is called the Universal Sanctuary. And it's here that we focus on themes that take us a bit outside of the present moment, to really think about our shared humanity, to think about our cosmos, not only our humanity but our entire cosmos as a kind of sanctuary. A couple highlights here. This fantastic design by John Akomfra, who's a Ghanaian, I believe, an artist of Ghanaian descent. In any event, this design comes from the handprints that are etched in a way onto the walls of caves in South America. Some of the first and earliest examples of art, but of certainly of human presence in an enclosed space, really testifying to our shared need for sanctuary that stretches back to our very earliest humanity. I think it's quite a beautiful and powerful design. And designed by the artist Uman, who is a Somali artist working in New York. This is quite a showstopper. And I'm sorry I'm not answering your questions right now because it's hard for me to read what you're writing. Hi Denise. How many installers worked on the show? Who does your lighting? We had about 4 or 5 people working on this in the past few days, and I can put you in touch with them if you want me to. Thanks for the question, Denise. This design is adapted from imagery taken from the Hubble telescope. These are all different galaxies in our universe, just splayed across the black void. I think it's just so powerful to sort of remind ourselves of our incredibly infinitesimally small place in the universe, in this vast space that really is our shared sanctuary, and one to which we have responsibility, and that we have responsibility to each other, ultimately. So that is the exhibition. You're seeing it in a sort of 85%, 95% installed state. We have our cherry picker still here, as we'll be doing installation photography tomorrow. One portion of the exhibition that you cannot experience right now is that we commissioned a score, a musical score for the exhibition. I contacted a composer and musician named Kaisa Sar, who is an Afghan-American rebab master based in Arizona, and he's just incredible. Because Afghans comprise the second largest group of displaced people in the world, yet we don't have any carpets designed by people of Afghan descent, I wanted to include their voices, so to speak, in the exhibition. And so I asked Kais if he would write a score for the exhibition, and he wrote a 3-part suite on the rebab, which will play in the galleries at a low volume. It's quite gorgeous. And when we reopen the museum, you'll be able to experience it in this really immersive environment. So just a quick walkthrough again to see some of the details here. Anyhow, I'm going to turn this back around. All right. Let me see. Do you have any questions that I might answer? Hello, Nosrat. Oh, you're welcome, Leah. And I'm excited to see and hear you too, Shannon. Thank you for tuning in. All my buddies are tuning in here. That's wonderful. Hey, Sahar. Nice to see you again. It's like you never left. One of our great AKM family members here who just had her last day recently. Let's see. I'll walk through a little bit. You don't have to look at my face. You're very welcome for sharing, for me. You're very welcome that I shared. I don't know how to. Anyway, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. CHEGAGO, Chicago, just asked, when is the opening? We're not sure when we're reopening. The museum will reopen on April 7th. You'll have to stay tuned to our web page for any updates, but right now that is the tentative date for our reopening. And then if we have an opening party for or an opening event for the exhibition, I'm not sure, but we'll definitely keep you posted on our social media and on our webpage. ZEMH767, hi, you just asked, will there be more live content and digital content? Absolutely. Throughout this entire time that we're all shuttered in because of COVID, the museum's going to be presenting all sorts of digital online content through our social media channels and so forth. I don't know if we're going to have anything live from the museum since we'll be closed, but we recently had, I believe, live performance, or at least a performance of Qawwali. We'll have performances from times past, some highlight reels, if you will, from the wonderful things that we've done over the past 5 years here at the museum. So definitely stay tuned. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thanks, Jen. Jen Babcock, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Jennifer Babcock just wrote in and just sent a very nice compliment. Thank you. I'm not sure if you all have a sense. Any other questions that I might answer? All right. Well, we also hope that we can reopen soon. It will be great when that happens. So, in any event, thank you all so much, honestly, for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to be able to do this. I wish you could all be here live, but soon enough we'll reopen and we'll have the chance to do that. And would you be doing some close-ups with description? We will have, that's a good question. We'll have content about the exhibition, more detailed content up very, very soon, possibly as early as next week. So you can definitely dig deeper with images of highlights from the exhibition along with our exhibition texts. So soon enough, just stay tuned. Feride just said it is International Museum Day on the 18th of March, which is tomorrow. So happy International Museum Day to everyone. And I could actually, truth be told, I could think of a better way of celebrating than having to do this remotely. But barring doing this in person, this has been a real pleasure. So happy Museum Day, everyone. All right, I think I'm going to sign off here. If there are any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I guess I'll bid you farewell. And thanks again for joining us. All right. Bye, guys.